Hi, it's Alexandra from the Middlesized Garden blog and YouTube channel with the October garden tour. And this month it's all about gorgeous leaf colour and berries and just a few things that haven't quite gone to plan. And of course that always is so much more helpful than things that turn out right. So join me and we'll start with a complete overview of the garden so that you can see its shape. This October we've had temperatures of about up to 21 degrees here in southeast England, and that's about 70 degrees Fahrenheit, which for October is a bit hot, and there hasn't been a lot of rain. But the real problems were in that 9-week drought over the summer when the trees didn't really get enough water. In order to get beautiful leaf colour in autumn, trees need the right combination of rain and sunshine in the summer. And in some parts of Britain it's been beautifully hot, and I think they haven't been quite so deprived of water. But here it was very hot and very dry, and so the leaves on the whole seem to be falling without changing colour that much, although there are some honourable exceptions. I'm going to give you a 30-second tour of the best bits of the garden now, to music. Going up the steps to the parterre, there's still plenty of colour from the dahlias on the right in the main bed in front of the kitchen window. They will just collapse after the first frost, so I'll cut them down and then cover them with a big pile of mulch. The cotinus tree, centre right of the garden, usually goes an amazing flame red at this time of year. Maybe it's yet to come and I'll have something spectacular to show you in the November garden tour, but so far only a few individual branches have turned colour. The twiggy little tree next to it is a liquid amber, and I was worried it was dying because it dropped almost all of its leaves very suddenly without turning that beautiful deep wine red, which is what liquid ambers are supposed to do. However, I asked a tree expert who said that young liquid ambers don't change colour as intensely as the older trees, so it's just a matter of time. On the left-hand side of the garden is the north-facing shady wall, and there are some excellent berries there at the moment: cotoneaster, rosa glauca and pyracantha. These provide late-season colour and food for the birds. Other shrubs with wonderful leaf colour include hydrangeas, especially the oak-leafed hydrangeas or Hydrangea quercifolia, which you can see here. I think this one is Snow Queen, and this one is Hydrangea aspera hot chocolate. However, some of the other hydrangeas haven't got such lovely colour, so it is worth considering leaf colour when you're choosing hydrangeas, I think. In the September garden tour, I mentioned my rose deadheading experiment. To the left of the bird feeder, I pruned each rose individually, and to the right, I clipped it all back with shears. The left-hand side came back much more quickly, but it is now going over, and the right-hand side is now in full flower. Along the back wall there's a grapevine that's changing colour, which emphasises the shape of the topiary, and the huge yellow-leaved Robinia frisia, or false acacia, is a magnificent tree in the garden at this time of year. Many of the roses are doing well now. Burgundy Ice, shown here, is doing a magnificent second flowering, as is the Salvia Love and Wishes, and in the front garden Rosa bonica is also back for its second flowering. The pink nerine bulbs are brilliant at this time of year. They do take a few years to get established, but after that they come back reliably every year with no care at all. Although I'm slightly disappointed that the trees haven't changed colour as gloriously as they have in previous years, that has made me think about the shrubs and the perennials. I had never really considered how much peony foliage, for example, can add to the border. And I've got several peonies in this garden, and one of them is just gorgeous autumn colour, and two of the others, which are quite large, their leaves are just dying. Now, if I could have chosen peonies that also had good autumn foliage, just think how much more valuable those plants would have been in this garden. Another really good all-round plant in this garden is the viburnum. I've got two. I've got Viburnum opulus, which is called Guelder Rose or Dogberry, and I've got Viburnum bodnansi. Bodnansi is absolutely wonderful during the winter. It has lots of little pink flowers through the really cold weather. and it's got gorgeous autumn colour now. Viburnum opulus, or Guelder Rose, or Dogberry, depending on what you call it, has lovely white pom-pom type flowers in spring, and it's behind me here, and it's just turning a beautiful colour, but I can see that I've got some viburnum beetle there. I don't think I'm going to spray it. I don't want to damage any of the pollinating insects, and quite often, if it's not too bad an infestation, the plant will just shrug it off. It certainly looks fine now. Cornus, of course, is magnificent in winter, and I grow these cornus for their red and yellow stems when everything else is bare. But actually, I'm pretty keen on their autumn colour as well. During the summer, this area is pretty much covered by foliage from trees, so not much grows here. So this is really quite a good autumn and winter plant, Cornus midwinter fire and Cornus alba elegantissima. I'm preparing the garden for next year gradually. I'm working my way round all the beds, just weeding and covering with a few inches of compost. I'm not digging, I'm taking Charles Dowding's advice and just weeding the top few inches of soil, but I'm tugging out the roots of ground elder and couch grass. Then I'll pile the compost on top, and by spring the worms and microorganisms will have incorporated it. If your garden is small or middle-sized, there's no need to hurry this, just do a bit at a time whenever it suits you. What's your end of season colour been like in your part of the world? Let me know in the comments below, and hit like if you'd like to see more garden tours. And if you haven't subscribed, the Middlesized Garden YouTube channel comes out every Saturday with tips, ideas and inspiration for your garden, so do join us. Thank you.